Hello everyone and welcome to the 2021 Dynamic Disc Open presented by Dynamic Disc here in Emporia, Kansas. This is our second stop on the national tour this year. And here we have our commentary team, myself, Rebecca Cox.
And myself, Paige Shue.
And we're here to bring you the FPO feature card round 1 on the Jones Gold course. Looks like we have Jessica Weese, Team Innova.
Forehand crusher.
We have another forehand crusher, Ellen Widboom.
Yeah. Known for her Idlewild win last year.
And Erika Stinchcomb. Haven't gotten to see her on a lot of coverage this year.
Yeah, she's a solid putter. I'm excited to see her inside the circle.
And Sarah Gilpin, sponsored by Team Dynamic Disc.
Yes.
She's a really solid player.
Yes, also a great putter. All right, so hole 1 on Jones Gold is pretty unique. It's a long 782-foot par 5. So off the tee, you have a gap you have to hit. You want to try to go as far as straight as you can. The second shot, you want to kind of get around that tree that we just flew over. Maybe pitch up a hyzer there. And then if you have the distance, do maybe a flex shot over the OB road and kind of give yourself a putt for the birdie. There is OB on the left, and there is some flagged white painted lines on the right. So Weese is going that right gap. You can either go left or right of that tree. And she turns it over.
Just a little too much.
Yeah, that's going to be out of bounds. So it's already a pretty narrow fairway, and they definitely made it tighter with that OB line. Yeah, that's an interesting play. Ellen tries to go out wide. If you want to do that route, you really have to put it out wide. You have to trust yourself.
Yeah, that's a good lefty line, but for sure you have to trust that.
Yeah, and it adds a lot more distance to the shot. Erika also kind of flips it over, but she avoids that tree in the middle and gets pretty far down there. Mm-hmm.
Flip.
Yeah, that's the more traditional line, trying to do a flip-up hyzer through that gap. She gets pretty far down there.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what you want right off the tee.
Yeah, it seems like anywhere you land, though, on your drive, it's a scary second shot.
It's very scary.
That OB road just comes into play, and there's a lot of trees that you need to avoid, and there's OB deep. So you really have to have a controlled second shot. Ellen places it pretty well. She should have a pretty easy third shot.
Jessica looks like she has a couple avenues here.
Looks like it's turning a little bit, but it's going to be low enough.
Looks like it stayed safe.
Yeah, it seems like that forehand-backhand combo for Jessica should help her a lot on this course. That's pretty much the typical way to play the hole. Just get down the middle, pitch up a hyzer, and see what you're dealing with on your third shot.
Oh man, looks like she was trying to go for the safer route there, but just chose something a little too straight.
Yeah, it didn't seem like she quite trusted it.
Yeah, it's a very touchy landing spot right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Ellen's just pitching up her third.
Stop. Yeah, she stays in.
Okay. Yeah, that was close. As you see, it gets tighter as you go further down the fairway.
Lisa, sit down.
Ooh, oh, oof. Sit. Okay.
I think that stayed in as well. Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty aggressive third shot, but that gives her an easy pitch up to get up and down for a par. Wow, Erika's ripping on him. Probably a sword or something like that. Holy cow.
Great shot.
Yeah, and this hole played pretty hard. We were dealing with some pretty bad weather some of the earlier tee times before this card. So the score, or the hole, averaged quite a bit over par.
Down. Okay, not as far as she wanted, but yeah, this is a really tough hole to just start out on.
Yeah, it averaged 6.31, and it's a par 5. So
well over a stroke.
Mm-hmm. So Weese has a pretty easy up and down to get her par. Left herself kind of a tester.
And she has such a straight, flat putt.
Yes, she does. She's very confident on the green. Good putt by Jessica. It's a good putt you want to hit on the first hole. Kind of give you a little bit of a confidence boost. Yeah, we weren't really dealing with wind today. Not yet, anyway. So the weather's pretty nice right now, so they're really trying to take advantage and, you know, get low scores.
Yeah. Kind of the eye of the storm situation here. Like, take advantage of it while it's calm.
Mm-hmm.
Widboom cleaning up her par. Yeah, you want to be aggressive on this hole, but at the same time, like, you really have to be in the perfect position to do that.
Yeah, it's a scary opening hole. It can really bring your round down. Erika with the birdie. Nice.
Great start.
Yeah. She really trusted that third shot.
Here we have hole 2, par 3, 351 feet. The road on the left here is OB. We have that big tree that you see in the middle of the fairway. The basket's pretty much right behind that. We have OB on the right side as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And really what you want to do is just go straight down the middle of the fairway. Anything that drifts right is going to get caught up in that tree.
Mm-hmm.
And it is also kind of easy to outdrive this hole if you put too much on it.
Yeah, if it ends up kind of hyzering out at the end, the green can get really fast.
Erika knew that upper hand.
Yeah, and this is 350 feet, so a lot of the women are trying to throw as far as they can, and you need kind of a flippy disc to get that max distance, so that's the risk you take for
Whoa, Widboom, commit to that one.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to watch a lot of interesting lines from Ellen today. But she isn't really reaching the basket with that kind of shot. Like, Weese threw pretty well, but she's still going to be like circle 2.
It requires so much power because you have to go over the road and those trees to even get close to the basket.
Mm-hmm. Sarah's just going to be going up the middle. Ooh.
Dang it.
Holy cow, that's one she probably wants to take back. I don't even think about that pole right there.
Right. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah. That's rough, but let's see if she can recover.
Mm-hmm.
She'll leave herself a tester. Yeah, so it looks like here she has either the anhyzer or the hyzer around the tree. She's going to probably be throwing a slower, maybe harp type disc, getting just up and down.
Sit down.
Oh, that came up short.
On.
Oh my gosh. That's like worst case scenario.
Yeah,
so
very unexpected.
She was probably feeling good after birdie in hole 1, and then this happens, but still plenty of golf left. Ellen with her Nova, I believe.
Oh yeah.
She was fire with that thing at Idlewild.
She's always fire with that thing.
Mm-hmm. She pitches it up there. She'll have a tap-in par. Sarah's lining up for Warden or EMAC Judge. I think she switched to the
Yeah,
EMAC
she's
Judge.
on the EMAC Judge now.
Yeah, give it a bid, but it's downhill and it's kind of scary, so just
Yeah,
to try to minimize. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a rough hole for Erika.
This is one where you don't want it to be a rough hole.
Mm-hmm.
You look back and you're like, I really shouldn't have gotten anything worse than a par on that hole.
Right. And it's especially tough on a course like this where you're like, I have so many more long holes left.
This course is interesting. The back 9 is where you can get a lot more birdies, it seems. It seems like there's a lot more doable par 4s. So you really want to try to minimize your bogeys on that front 9 so you can end up under par.
Yeah, for sure.
Double bogey for Sarah. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, because your drive
It happens so quick.
Yeah, especially on a hole like this.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like it, but
Mm-hmm. There's your scoreboard so far. We are on to hole 3. This is a 405-foot par 3. It's pretty straightforward. It takes quite a bit of distance. It is a little bit downhill, but you still need a solid 370 at least to get there. So most of us are just trying to stay in bounds. There is like kind of a big field right in front of the tee pad that's out of bounds, and you need like what, maybe like 300, 320 to clear it. So you're really just trying to get over that OB and give yourself an easy up and down. However, all those trees on the right are pretty. It's safe, but you're probably taking a stroke just to pitch out. So.
Yeah, the mistake here, if you don't throw it straight, is to fade left, because there is more like of an open, not OB spot up there.
Yeah.
'Cause being in the woods is just jail.
I think Weese is ripping on some
Get
halo.
stable.
Ooh. It's like a vortex over there. I think the downhill makes it, speed up, getting more understable as it goes further. Sarah Gilpin just ripping it down the hill. She'll have an easy up and down. That looked like quite a bit of a misrelease. So that's OB's. Oh. Yeah.
Oh man, it's just OB too.
Did she cross? Ellen's just trying to get it up and down there. I guess so. Oh, there's a drop. Is that drop zone? No.
No, I think she drifted inside.
She crossed, and she'll have an easy bogey right there.
Yeah, there's just so much OB on this course. The staying clean is half the battle.
It is. But just stay safe and make your putts. And that's
pretty much.
Yeah, this hole is birdieable for like the upper echelon of throwers. There's a couple of birdies. I think Katrina, Haley, and Emily got the birdies. And Emily's a lefty, so.
Yeah, but Emily has an arm on her.
Yeah, she does.
Crush,
Holy cow.
The crusher's definitely birdied this hole.
Bogey for Weese. This is a hole where you don't want to walk off with anything worse than a par.
Yeah, the first few holes really, you're like, just want to be par, if anything. And Ellen managing to stay even throughout the first 3 holes.
It's pretty much the goal.
Here we have hole 4, 530 feet, par 4. We have OB line on the left side. We have the creek surrounded by water OB on the right, but the wood lining is perfectly safe. Our drives, we want to get about to this area right here so we can throw a pitch-up shot to the basket for the birdie. But as you can see, there's also this parking lot / road that is OB as well.
This is a fun par 4.
Yeah, I like this one.
It's hard, but it's so rewarding when you get the birdie.
And this one tree in the middle of the fairway really makes it more challenging than you would think, because you have to pick a side.
Ellen just pitches a forehand up there. This is a good forehand hole for sure. Makes that second shot a lot easier if you're going for the green. That was just a little bit of a misrelease.
Yeah,
this is one where if you're not decent off the tee, you probably aren't getting par or birdie.
Get down. That's the thing, you have to commit so much, because if you don't, you end up with just such a bad place.
Yeah, for real.
That's a great shot by Erika.
Yeah, it seems like that inside line, the hyzer, is safe, but it makes the second shot longer. I like to go on the left side of the tree and get as much distance as I can.
Yeah, Sarah just laying up.
Looks like she's going for it with a forehand. I've not seen her throw too many forehands. Wow.
She's pretty decent at it.
Okay. Yeah, that was a great shot.
Yep, she has a putt for her par.
Weese is trying to find her disc.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of woods where you can see or swing your arm freely or anything like that. You get in there and you're like, I just need to get out of here.
Yeah, well, that was a pretty decent pitch out from Jessica. There's a typical forehand upshot for Ellen. See if she can do it.
Oh yeah. Sit nicely.
Yeah, no problem for Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
She did a good job of really breaking down each shot. The backhand is a scary shot on this one. You got to throw something flippy. You have to put it out wide enough if you want to have a easy putt. Looks like Erika didn't quite trust it, so it turned over a little bit. But that's the good mistake to make to be safe.
Oh, get through it. Dang it.
Did she? Ooh.
Yeah, and the whole thing with the forehand upshot here is putting it wide enough you can kind of trickle into that bush sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Makes a
over
correction.
the bush.
Yeah. Pitches it pretty high. Yeah, she'll be right there. Erika didn't land in too bad of a spot. She has a circle 2 putt.
Oh. Wow, I thought she was about to bang that.
I thought so too. She had a lot of power from a standstill.
Mm-hmm.
This is for her par.
Great.
Beautiful putt. That was probably circle's edge, uphill, weird footing.
Mm-hmm. No problem.
Probably the confidence boost she needed. She's looking solid on the green, but not really getting off the tee how she'd like. This is for birdie.
Oh.
Still got a little bit of a tester to come back. That's what happens when you have a spin putt. She makes it no problem, so she'll have an easy par.
And just with the bogey. I mean, that's the best you can do when your upshot just doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm. Easy tap and par for Erika. Not too much damage done on that hole. You can get some high numbers on this hole for sure. So, still solid showing from Ellen. About even. I think she's parred every hole so far. And then a few over for everyone else. Alright, we're on to hole 5. This is a 641-foot par 4. There is OB on the left and there is OB on the right. And so that first tree that we just flew over, that little big bush in the middle, you either want to go left or right of it. Then if you have the distance, your second shot, you can try to get over the pond and have either a putt for birdie or an easy pitch up to get an easy par. But if you don't really have a lot of distance, most people are going to be pitching up at the top of the hill and relying on that third shot to get up and down for their par. So Ellen's going with the forehand. I'm guessing she's going to play left side of the bush. Yeah, she gets it up high to get that extra distance.
Yeah, if you're able to land up there on the left side, you kind of have like a shorter upshot to the basket, but it's still kind of a haul.
Yeah, and you got to throw pretty much directly uphill for the first part of the flight. She's barely safe, but that's in a pretty good position. Yeah, that bush has a lot of gravitational pull, it seems. But she got through it. She should have a decent run up. So she's definitely going to be at least laying up from there.
This is a good shot from Jess. She got it way up there.
Yeah, good pull. Good height, good power.
She might consider actually going over the pond from there.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like Erika's just laying up. That's typical for most of us who can't really throw super far.
Kind of left it still a little bit to be desired.
Yeah,
there.
it's scary.
You can't see the water from there, so.
Yeah. And the footing, as you see, is pretty bad up there. So like that layup, she's going to have rough footing, and she still has to throw over that water. So this is a pretty tricky par 4, I think.
Oh, yeah. Definitely played as one of the most difficult holes.
Mm-hmm. Good layup there from Sarah.
Yeah, Jess is just opting to lay it up. Whoa.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, stay away from that pole.
But she has good footing there, and looks like she'll have a good look at the par.
I can only assume that's a sword.
Probably. She's ripping on that thing pretty well.
Beautiful shot.
She gets over, but you see she has maybe circle's edge, maybe outside on a really elevated basket, so she's probably going to be laying up for bogey.
Yeah, it's a bit of a questionable par for us, but...
Yeah. Ellen also getting over, but definitely has a long putt. Sarah's looking good. Still kind of a long putt, but her run-up looked like she had a little bit of a flatter ground to work with than the other two.
Yeah, and Jess does not have a lot of room here, it looks like, with that pole in the way. She can generate a lot of power.
Great upshot. She'll have a pretty routine putt.
Ooh!
Wow, giving it a bid. It's a scary basket. Erika also giving it a bid.
Dang.
Couple of cage hits back to back. Sure, she's wanting to get it up a little higher. They're all running it. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Bangs it.
Yeah, not super surprised. Sarah's known for her long range putting and just confidence on the green. So that was a great par. Jessica also with a great par. She played the hole pretty perfect, you know. Good drive, laid up, you know, had kind of a tricky third shot, but she was able to execute and get a pretty easy tap in par.
Widboom with, I believe, her first bogey of the round.
Oh.
Yeah, this hole played as the third toughest hole.
Not surprised.
1.13 over par, so yeah, definitely not a surprise. Next we have hole 6, 565 feet, par 4. We have the OB creek on the left side here. There's also OB on the right where that house was. You want your drive to get up to this area or just before it. This creek is OB right here that you have to cross to get to the basket on the other side of those woods. The road along the basket is of course OB as well.
Yeah, this is a tricky hole. Distance is really key here. If you can throw far, you have quite a bit of an advantage. So Sarah Gilpin's just ripping on probably some high-speed driver. Throws it a little low, but she'll probably be laying that one up.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple different upshots on this hole. If you're too far right to go through that gap on the left side, I've seen women go over the top of the trees.
Yeah, that takes a lot of distance and power.
Oh, yeah. Just kind of landing on the left side, just where you want to be if you have a forehand upshot.
Ellen going with the backhand. Yeah, you really want to be landing left so you have a more of a direct line to the basket or can hit the gap easier because through that gap it's pretty much straight up to the right.
Get down, get down.
Ooh, I think that stayed safe.
Yeah.
Now I'd say that left side is pretty dangerous, but you do have an easier look for trying to hit that gap for your second shot. However, it looked like Erika landed behind a tree. So we'll see what she has to work with.
Go, 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 go.
Sarah trusting that forehand.
Beautiful.
Holy cow. Wow. Yeah, she'll have an easy up and down, maybe even a long putt for birdie.
I'll get through that, Ellen. Oh, okay.
What? I've never seen a disc go through that. Those trees will eat you up. So that was a great shot by Ellen. She'll have a pretty routine upshot. Ooh, Erika ripping a forehand. Oh. Does stay in bounds?
I don't know.
Still, I didn't know she had a forehand, so man, these ladies are making it look easy. That it looked like she just didn't quite commit. Usually if you're not committing, you're throwing low because you don't want to get it too high up in the air. So she'll be marking her lie. We'll probably get backhand Annie.
Yeah.
She's inside the circle. She'll be putting for bogey.
Oh, she did stay in. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
This is a
pretty
hole.
routine.
Yeah, this is a hole where if I get a par, I'm pretty stoked, honestly.
Yeah.
Easy up from Ellen. Sarah's wanting to give this one a run.
For sure.
It's uphill though, so she's gonna need a lot of legs.
Ooh.
She'll take a tap in par.
For sure. I like her spin putt because it's not like super spinning. Like her misses are usually within like a tap in putt. So.
She likes to have a little float to them. Really speed controllable. So just a bunch of tap-ins. Say with only one person walking away with a bogey, this card did pretty well on this hole. Your scorecard so far. Ellen's at 1 up, Sarah's at 3, Erika's at 4, and Weese is going to be sitting at 6. All right, this is hole 7. This is a 355-foot par 3. This is an interesting hole. So the tee shot, there's a Mando that that first tree you got to go left of. You pretty much want to throw something straight to slightly understable and just land as straight as you can, because then it goes to the right. And unless you have a 355-foot sidearm that gets a lot of glide and a lot of skip, you're probably just playing for par on this one. So maybe we'll see Ellen or Weese, get up there, but for the most part, you just want to throw as straight as you can so you can have a pretty easy upshot. Or you can go out wide. I didn't think of that route. I don't have a forehand mindset. That's a pretty safe play. There is that OB on the left side that divides the fairway, so you can't flip it over too much if you're going that route. And the road on the right's OB, but it really doesn't come into play.
Yeah.
And behind the basket there's a little bit of a hill that goes to the road, so you can get some pretty bad rollaways, or if you go too long, you can end up out of bounds.
I like this line a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty typical. You want flex to get some good distance, but you don't want too much fade.
Yeah, that's like the main line if you want to reach the basket. But you have to have such a perfect shot to do it. Whoa.
Yeah, we pulled it inside.
And she might be right behind that.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be.
Bit of a hard upshot as well with that. Like you mentioned, that hill right behind the basket. You just want to... It's scary because you're looking right past that hill.
Yeah, it's hard to commit. And then if you end up short, you have a death putt. So it seems like it's a lose-lose.
Ellen used her Nova, so she's within 10 feet as always.
So Weese likely was on the edge enough to be able to go around the building.
Wow, that was a great shot.
Wow. Nice. I've landed behind there and I have to throw some kind of thumber and it never ends up good. So good throw there from Jessica. Erika doing a long jump putt.
Yeah, it looked like she was getting a little bit of a run.
She'll have a tap in. Sarah with the solid putt.
Yeah, this is just one of those holes that you want to par. There were no birdies on this hole for the day.
Not surprised with how hard it finishes to the right, and it's still a good throw. It's hard to beat the two.
Yeah, I played with Katrina Allen. I don't think she even went for this hole.
I think everybody parred there, right?
Yeah. Next up, we have hole 8, par 4, 585 feet. We have the OB right here in front of the tee pad. The right of that line is where the safe fairway is. The road on the right side is also OB. Landing spot is right here or just before this. It can really have a great shot. And then it's an upshot through these trees to the basket.
It's a scary tee shot. If you're going that route, you really, forehand is fine, make sure it fades. But if you're trying to do a backhand, you need something flippy.
Yeah, you need a lot of power.
Forehand seems, ooh.
Oh no. Yeah, Ella knew it right out of her hand.
Definitely a misrelease there. And that sucks. She has to take it all the way back here, so she's probably not getting any better than a bogey. That's the route I've been taking. I really have not been trusting my understable distance drivers, so I just checked a hyzer out there and was like, I can probably get a par from here.
Just ripping something over.
That's the shot you want.
Yeah, you really want to be able to bite off as much distance as you can off the tee in order to really go for the birdie here. Well, tricky footing for Widboom there.
No problem. She should have an easy up and down from there. It's a tough birdie to get. I think even if you throw a good drive, it's tough. It's very rewarding. So Sarah's out in the middle.
Yeah, she threw that pretty low.
Erika got pretty far.
Oh yeah, Boomtown.
Wow. I need to ask her what disc that is.
It's very straight.
Looking for a birdie there. And Jessica, it's kind of a weird, tricky footing situation, but it looks like she gets up and down. She'll have a putt. One's looking to pitch up a forehand.
One needs to turn more.
Yeah.
Just leaving it a bit short, but she still has a look.
Man, a lot of sidearms on this card. Ooh, she pulled that one. That one she's probably going to regret. She wanted it, but you know, that's what happens if you mess up one of the up shots.
Yeah, that's what's so frustrating about these holes too.
Hey, did she make that?
Yeah, she did.
Nice. Great putt. Nice slow-mo. Look at her follow through.
Getting the run back. Nice.
There you go.
Yep.
So cute. I love Ellen. Fun to play with, fun to watch throw. Weese.
Just a bit low for her bird.
Great birdie from Erika.
Yeah, 2 great shots.
Par's not bad though. Scores are still pretty tight.
Yeah, the strokes move around a lot on this course.
All right, this is hole 9, a 613-foot par 4. Pretty straightforward. It's just straight uphill, pretty wide open, a couple trees on the left. There is that road OB right, so if you're trying to flex something to get max distance, you got to be careful you don't turn it over too much, but you can really use that road to get some good skip. Most people are throwing something kind of overstable to make sure they're finishing out left. It is kind of long because it plays uphill, but it's birdieable. So Erika's throwing kind of a hyzer. That is an okay throw,
Yeah,
but that
okay.
footing is not going to be good.
Yeah, that little ditch is kind of tough.
Yeah, she's probably going to have to do a standstill.
Just trusting something over the road.
Yeah, nice hyzer flip. That's the best shot you're probably going to see on this hole.
Yeah, that's all you really need on this hole.
I mean, it's pretty wide open, pretty boring hole. You're just kind of throwing it as hard as you can once or twice and then hoping you make your putt.
Yeah, it looks like Sarah's pushing up against that tree a little bit. Whoa. I don't know if she meant to go that wide.
Well, looks like she stayed in bounds, so she'll have a pretty far second shot.
Yeah, she has a little bit of work to do. Man, she really threw that one hard.
Yeah, with Sarah being pinned up against that tree, she's kind of limited, but she rips a forehand pretty far. Yeah, Erika had a standstill. And
Yeah, still getting up there pretty far for just a standstill.
He's ripping on a forehand.
Got some OB on that side too. She didn't push far enough.
A little wide there.
I should have a putt.
Yeah, Weese just pitching out. That'll be her bogey since she went out of bounds.
I think the rain is starting to come in.
Yeah, you can see it's really dark out there already. Yeah, we're in for some rough weather here. Erika giving it a good bid. She'll take a tap-in par.
Yeah, once the rain starts to come down, you can't keep your putters dry. It's tough. It's humid too. So even when you get your hand dry, it's like not completely dry.
And it's tough. There's no trees out here, so you're feeling all the wind, all the rain. You can't really protect yourself.
It's a good putt.
it started to sprinkle, and then all of a sudden it started to dump.
Yeah.
So
Relentless rain.
it was cold, wet, windy. So we're in for a couple of rough holes, but you know, everyone's dealing with it. So you're just honestly trying to get par. It feels like in the rain, pars are birdies.
Yeah. Well, here are our scores after the first 9 holes. Thank you for joining us for the front 9 feature card for the first round. We'll see how it shakes out with the back 9 with all that rain.
Yeah, there's a lot more birdies to be had on the back, so I'm excited to see how they finish and see how the weather holds up.